Released in 2004, Red Dead Revolver arrived at a very particular moment for both the industry and Rockstar Games. At the time, Rockstar was coming off the massive success of Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City, redefining open world design and narrative freedom. But the studio was still experimenting with genre, structure, and identity. Originally conceived by Angel Studios and later taken over by Rockstar, Red Dead Revolver was directed by John White and released on PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Unlike what the franchise would later become, this was not an open-world epic, but a linear, arcade-style action shooter, heavily inspired by classic spaghetti westerns and pulp cinema. In an era dominated by gritty realism and modern crime stories, Red Dead Revolver stood out as something unusual. A stylized, exaggerated western, part homage, part experiment, laying the groundwork for what would later become one of the most respected franchises in modern gaming. While it may feel modest today, Red Dead Revolver represents Rockstar testing the waters, exploring tone, gunplay, cinematic presentation, and western iconography, years before Red Dead Redemption would perfect the formula.
I'm gonna make mincemeat out of you!
Well, bounty hunter, if you want this train to make it to Brimstone, you better load up them guns of yours.
Now this here's a robbery. Nobody plays hero, nobody dies.
At the heart of Red Dead Revolver is its defining mechanic, the Deadeye. Even today, it remains a satisfying and intuitive system, allowing players to slow down time, mark targets, and execute precise shots in rapid succession. It adds rhythm and strategy to combat, transforming simple gunfights into cinematic moments of control and flair. The core shooting mechanics are solid, with a reliable cover system and a clear emphasis on positioning and timing. Controls can feel slightly imprecise at times, especially in situations that demand pixel-perfect accuracy, but overall, they remain responsive and functional, particularly when Deadeye is used effectively. The game's duel mechanics deserve special mention. These moments stripped combat down to pure timing and precision, directly evoking the romanticized imagery of spaghetti westerns. Watching hands over near holsters, waiting for the perfect moment to draw, captures the tension and theatricality of classic western cinema in a way few games ever have. One of the game's strongest gameplay elements is its roster of playable characters.
Ma'am?
While Red Harlow serves as a narrative and mechanical core, equipped with the game's signature Deadeye ability, Red Dead Revolver frequently shifts perspectives, placing the player in control of other characters with distinct identities and mechanics. Annie Stokes, for example, uses an explosive rifle shot that favors crowd control. Jack Swift dual-wields pistols with rapid-fire precision, and Shadow Wolf relies on bow and stealth-oriented combat. These variations may be limited in scope, but they meaningfully alter the rhythm of combat and prevent the campaign from feeling mechanically monotonous, adding flavor and diversity to the overall experience.
Damn it!
The only thing left in my bag of tricks is to pick the damn lock on the front door. Think you two can keep me from getting shot in the back while I do it?
Mission design is equally varied. The standout train mission remains memorable even today, combining dynamic movement, environmental hazards, and intense shootouts against mounted enemies. Other moments, such as the notoriously challenging bridge mission with General Diego, introduce sharp difficulty spikes.
Generalissimo, you're not planning to take on the entire Yankee army.
These sections can feel punishing, occasionally crossing the line between challenge and frustration. but they also reinforce the game's old-school arcade roots. Boss fights are frequent and diverse, often built around unique mechanics and exaggerated abilities. While not all of them are narratively meaningful, they contribute to the game's pulpy tone and visual identity.
I can hear you coming, little man. You think you can handle taking on a woman like me?
Between missions, players can spend their money on weapons, outfits, and items that expand Red's journal, adding a light progression layer that rewards experimentation and replay.
Oh, easy there, friend. Come on over here. Come on now. It's too dangerous for a man to be walking around in these parts.
Red Dead Revolver's story opens strongly. The prologue, showing a young Red and his father, is a surprisingly effective emotional hook and establishes the game's central theme of revenge in just a few minutes.
Pa! Get up, Pa! Pa! Pa!
Kid, I reckon your pa's better off dead.
However, the game's chapter-based structure works against its storytelling ambitions. Narrative momentum is often interrupted, and many confrontations lack emotional weight because the characters involved haven't been properly developed.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a varmint what don't know its own business.
That said, Red Dead Revolver embraces a stylized, almost cartoonish approach to its cast. Villains like Mr. Black, Big Josh, and General Diego are less about narrative depth and more about personality, visual identity, and spectacle. They feel like exaggerated archetypes, pulled straight from classic Western cinema.
Take him to the river and shoot him like a dog.
Beyond individual characters, Red Dead Revolver succeeds in recreating the tone of classic Western cinema from its golden age. Its exaggerated villains, dramatic confrontations, and episodic structure feel deliberately inspired by old serials and pulp films, where style and spectacle often matter more than narrative realism. While the storytelling lacks cohesion, the journey itself remains entertaining, varied, and consistently engaging thanks to its playful tone and cinematic flair.
Seem to have found myself in a most unfortunate situation.
The game also frequently leans into comedy and surrealism. Fighting clowns, illusionists, and over-the-top gunmen reinforce the idea that this is not a grounded western, but rather a playful homage to the genre's golden age. The city of Brimstone, the game's central hub, deserves special mention.
An Atlantic Railroad Western Express is now arriving at Brimstone Station.
It encourages exploration and immersion through small details, fully voiced NPCs, updated newspaper headlines, ambient dialogue, and constant activity. These elements help the world feel alive and were surprisingly ambitious for the time.
I got your telegram. Mighty grateful to you.
While Red Dead Revolver lacks the narrative sophistication of its successors, it remains a fun, varied, and entertaining journey, carried by strong atmosphere and a clear love for the classic Western storytelling.
That's enough disturbing the peace for one day. Hand over the weapon. I said hand it over. Ma'am?
Do I know you, stranger?
Tell me about the gold mine in Bear Mountain.
I know nothing about a gold mine. You might want to take a trip on down to the saloon in Brimstone. It's always littered with a bunch of drunks yapping about it.
Visually, Red Dead Revolver is clearly dated by today's standards, largely due to the limitations of hardware and the low native resolution of the consoles it was released on. Textures are simple, character models are angular, and animations lack the fluidity we would later see in Rockstar's future titles. But this aging is purely technical and not artistic. From an art direction standpoint, Red Dead Revolver remains remarkably distinctive. The game embraces a stylized, almost caricatured Western aesthetic that evokes classic spaghetti westerns and pulp illustrations. It never aims for realism, and that choice works strongly in its favor. Even today, the game never feels visually bland or generic. The environments are varied and effective, from dusty frontier towns to deserts, canyons, and railroads. Brimstone in particular stands out as a lively and well-designed hub, filled with NPCs, movement, and small visual details that reinforce the feeling of a lived-in world. The landscapes do an excellent job of selling the Western fantasy, even within their technical constraints. Character design is one of the game's strongest visual elements. Enemies and bosses are exaggerated, memorable, and often grotesque, reinforcing both the game's tone and its almost comic book sensibility. Characters like Mr. Black stand out immediately, not just for their narrative role, but for their striking visual presence.
I do hope you're planning to attend the Battle Royale. I would very much look forward to beating an adversary of your talent.
Animations, while not particularly varied, feature several creative touches that add visual personality. Small details, such as enemies reacting differently to shots, heads flying off during headshots, or exaggerated death animations, inject charm and reinforce the game's stylized presentation. These flourishes help compensate for the limited animation set and add texture to combat encounters. Cutscenes are naturally dated, but they benefit from a strong cinematic direction, with good framing, varied shot composition, and a clear sense of scale. Even when the technology shows its age, the visual language remains confident and expressive.
I busted up the place something good. Found the keys to the whole place on one of them dead blue jackets.
Overall, while Red Dead Revolver may no longer impress on a purely technical level, its artistic identity, stylization, and strong character designs ensure that it remains visually engaging and far from forgettable.
That no-good governor is gonna be sorry he burned down my ranch after I get through with this fancy house.
I don't think the governor is going to be in a position to care about much of anything soon.
Keep your heads down, boys!
Cousin Red?
Shadow Wolf?
I knew I'd find you. The blood bond between is strong.
I'll go to Brimstone. I'll have the cavalry here in no time.
Go fast, soldier. Unless we separate, we will have no chance for escape.
Red Dead Revolver delivers a soundscape that is firmly rooted in classic Western cinema. Much of the game's music is built around licensed tracks inspired by old spaghetti Western films, rather than a fully original score written specifically for the game. This approach works well thematically, instantly evoking dusty landscapes, duels at high noon, and the mythic tone of classic westerns, even if it slightly limits the game's musical identity when compared to Rockstar's later titles. Voice acting is generally strong for its time, with exaggerated performances that lean into the game's comic book tone. Some deliveries are intentionally over the top, bordering on caricature, but this fits the surreal and stylized nature of the characters and the world.
Not just sell up to the governor. You could always move into town and work in the saloon.
The saloon! How dare you! I just need one more week.
Every major character is fully voiced, which adds personality and helps bring the cast to life, even when the narrative structure itself lacks depth.
I'm afraid the governor is otherwise occupied. Next time I suggest you make an appointment, only there ain't gonna be no next time.
Sound design is one of the game's quieter strengths. Gunshots have weight, ricochets echo convincingly through open environments, and small details, like the click of a revolver cylinder or the reload of a weapon, add tactile feedback to combat. The overall sound mix is solid, contributing to immersion without ever overpowering the action or the music.
Let's see if we can find a way in that will attract a little less attention.
I'll go around this way.
I'm going straight in. I want my money. We have a small problem. Then tell me about the Golden Bear Mountain that young lady was talking about.
I'm sorry, I can't disclose anything about our clients.
Ooh! Then tell me where she lives. And when I get back, you'd better have my gold.
Red Dead Revolver is a fascinating snapshot of Rockstar's at a turning point. It's not the deep, character-driven Western epic the studio would later perfect, but rather a bold and experimental foundation, a game more concerned with style, pacing, and moment-to-moment action than with narrative cohesion.
You're a man of few words. I respect that. I truly do.
Its combat systems, especially the early implementation of Deadeye, still feel inventive and satisfying, while the variety of playable characters, missions, and boss encounters keeps the experience consistently fresh. Narratively, it may lack the emotional weight and structural elegance of its successors, but it compensates with personality, humor, and a strong love letter to the golden age of Western cinema.
Fill 'em full of lead!
Visually and stylistically, Red Dead Revolver remains distinctive. Despite being clearly dated by modern technical standards, its art direction, character designs, and cinematic presentation ensure it never feels dull or forgettable. Combined with the soundscape deeply rooted in classic Western films, the game delivers a unique atmosphere that still holds up today. Ultimately, Red Dead Revolver is not just an interesting precursor to Red Dead Redemption. It's a meaningful piece of Rockstar's creative history. Imperfect, experimental, but undeniably important. Have you played Red Dead Revolver? Did it leave an impression on you, or did you discover it only after Red Dead Redemption? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, consider liking the video and subscribing to Bit by Bit for more deep dives into gaming history. And, as always, thank you for your time.
Cannon could replace that man's arm.
How'd he lose his arm?
We ain't telling you nothing, stranger. Near as I can tell, we ain't even talking to you.
Take a walk!
Answer my question, and I'll be on my way.
Well, shut up! Don't tell the stinking prairie dog nothing! Ain't that right, Sam?
I reckon so. Say goodbye, mister.